Muskis for winning the avatar that I promised to give away. So there you go. I promised it and I did it. Anyways, more importantly, we got game number 2 here of this series, and look at this so far again. CiC Esports valuing this Witch Slayer, man. They like it. Another thing I'm noting, though, no ban on the Warbeast this time around. Very interesting bans, kind of. Bubbles, Chronos, Ophelia, Rhapsody coming out here.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised, and I don't know if CiC's going to pick up Warbeast, but I mean, I don't see why not. They had great success with it in the last series against Reason Gaming, and obviously they lost game 1, but I mean, obviously not the fault of Warbeast not being there, but I mean, why not pick it up if it's there?
Yeah.
They definitely have the potential to try, and we saw in obviously game 1 against Reason Gaming, or against game 2 actually. The Warbeast tri lane helps out so much because of the battle cry, and then BMG have quite a similar lineup actually to Reason in that game too with the Magnus and the Engineer, and they do pick up. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to pick up or play it. But you know, BMG might need to be quite afraid actually.
Yeah, again, they banned it, so it's clear that they picked up on that, but they're going to give it a shot here. They are up that game, of course, so kind of a little bit of a leeway. So, but yeah, we do see the Warbeast, so we're going to see what KZ is able to do with it this time around. I'm looking at the lineup that BMG has so far. It seems like Flux would make a lot of sense here for their lineup, what they're bringing to the table. I mean, having Flux and Magnus maybe a little bit, as far as the lanes go, could a little bit different, but it's definitely still very manageable, so I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if that does come out, but obviously there's also plenty of other options. But yeah, knowing that they're going up against the Warbeast now, how do they address it? Empath is going to be their final pick, so they do have the double support that they are showing here. No jungle going to be happening.
Yeah, and we see the Empath here looking like it's going to be some kind of trial lane because of that hero is so strong in the trial lane. But at the same time, though, I think I've mentioned it before, but like, there's an instant Swiftblade ban. But Empath, obviously a strong hero, particularly with the Swiftblade. But if she isn't really matched up with like a strong sort of laner that can do a lot of damage, like Swiftblade, then she doesn't really offer that much in a trial lane. She offers the wall, yes, obviously good to help out with positioning, but other than that, the link is kind of lackluster in compared to other supports offering that, a more reliable stun and a bit more burst potential. I mean, Empath in a trial without Swiftblade isn't really that strong in my opinion. So I mean, CiC might even try and capitalize that as they have banned out the Swiftblade as a result.
Yeah. See a Swiftblade, Tempest, Drunken Master, so they're overall the bans, but yeah, coming out here. So yeah, BMG clearly. I'm looking at that Keeper of the Forest, man. For CiC Esports, is BMG going to ban the Keeper here with their final ban, or will they not? I got to think that's probably going to be picked up by CiC if not, because again, they worked so well earlier against Reason Gaming, and there's a reason why it is strong, obviously. So,
but I mean, at the same time, in that one game, they did have the Rhapsody, and that's obviously banned out there. And if they pick up the Keeper of the Forest, they have Kraken and Witchblade aren't the strongest of pushing heroes. So, I mean, it's one of those things that they don't have to ban it, but at the same time, it's still dangerous.
Those heroes alone, though,
well.
it's like it's like they bring just so much push. And
yeah, I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm just saying that it's less so of an issue now that Rhapsody is banned. It's like there's obviously Keeper is a strong hero, but obviously he's a lot more stronger if there's a few heroes on the same team as him, and obviously Rhapsody is one of those heroes. So they do not decide to ban it. So I'm kind of interesting if they do pick up the Keeper here or not. But
they go with Torture instead. Again, another understandable ban, I guess you could say, but yeah, does CiC take this Keeper chance here? Again, they don't need to do it now. The chances of BMG picking up Keeper of the Forest probably pretty low, but still wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, those are some fair points as to why maybe we wouldn't see it. Wretched Hag is going to be picked up here for CiC for now, as far as where they're going with this. So at the same time, if this ends up being so, I mean, KZ again, he's been the one that's been doing so well with this. Could they do a Jungle Warbeast though? The calls for it.
I mean, it kind of makes sense that they might, because the reason being is that Wretched Hag and Warbeast are probably going to be the solos, but then that leaves Kraken in a trial lane, and that hero kind of sucks in a trial lane, to be honest. So it might actually be a Jungle Warbeast, unless they pick up the Keeper here in the last pick. That could obviously change depending on what's going to happen, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me actually if it's going to be Jungle, because otherwise Jungle Warbeast, because otherwise, but at the same time they can't even trial lane though, because it's going to be a Jungle Warbeast then. I don't know, honestly, it's kind of hard to say without this last pick being shown. I do like the Doctor Repulse pick up for BMG though, because Doctor Repulse is a strong laner, but there is the Keeper of the Forest, so yeah, we are going to see the jungle keeper and the will be suicide then.
Well,
So
I was going to say there's even more reason to get Keeper here, honestly, because as you were just mentioning, Doctor, a good pickup for BMG, but Keeper is great against Doctor for the reason of that lockdown, obviously,
yeah.
with the root. So I wonder if that almost put it over the edge for them. It's like, yeah, it's just too good here to pass up. We got to go with it. So surely enough, they are going to probably end up with the KZ War Beast here, and again, slapped on that Keeper of the Forest, if things make sense here. But now for BMG.
Yeah. But I mean, this is similar. Actually, BMG have somewhat of a similar lineup to what Reason had actually, but Zinc have a slightly different makeup. And I think BMG still have to run sort of the similar strategy that Reason Gaming had to, which is more sort of ganking oriented before the heroes and leaders, so I can really get their farm and their core items, because it's going to be really hard to sort of stop Warbeast and Keeper, as well as the Wretched Hag sort of split push and even team fight and push it, in the mid game as well. So I think a lot of roaming and a lot of early potential sort of aggression. Yeah, Pharaoh.
Pharaoh would be great here against Warbeast too, I would think. Oh, okay, they go Chipper.
Yeah, I actually like that pick. As long as they get aggressive and start ganking early, which is BMG, so of course they will. So
yeah,
and I think it will work out. They're going to probably try lane with the Magnus most likely, sort of send the Chipper mid and the Doctor Repulsor top. I just really want to see active kills, active ganks, and hopefully get BMG ahead before Zinc can really start snowballing and really become a powerhouse, really. Because otherwise, when that happens, I think BMG will definitely be in trouble.
All right, so once again, this style of lineup, the idea at least, pretty much the same, even though the heroes maybe not all the same, but for CiC Esports, it worked beautifully earlier against Reason Gaming. But again, BMG clearly the obvious, they are a different team, but on top of that, of course, they are up 1-0 even as BMG. So once again, kind of have that leeway at the same time. So yeah, something really tells me that was the mentality. If anything, it's like we're up 1-0 now. Let's see what they're all about with this War Beast, and see if it actually is as powerful as so we've heard and maybe even saw earlier. Here's KZ's chance to prove that. But Insania again playing the Witch Slayer. So again, he made a point that he was. Something clicked lately, clearly, about this Witch Slayer support, and this is the third time we've seen it now played today, out of 4 games in total. So, and I can't say it hasn't been working. I mean, it's obviously been working for the most part. So,
I mean, we saw the potential of it in the last game. I thought he was doing so much work actually in the last team fight in game 1. I mean, it just obviously had somewhat of a lacking, or had a bad start because the laning phase is quite bad. But once he got into it, he got his portal key up, got level, 11, and he just started doing quite a lot of work. It's just see if he can sort of coast through into the mid game, because that's where he sort of shines and sort of fails in the early laning phase. So.
Now, Empath is going to be with Chipper down here at the bottom side, it looks like.
This is pretty funky, but I think he can work though. I mean, they're going aggressive against a really passive jungler like Keeper of the Forest, so it's going to shut down the Wretched Hag actually quite a bit. We saw Chipper dual lane, I think it was against The Last of Us, wasn't it? I jumped in late. I remember Chipper and Behemoth laning top.
I think so, yes. That's what it was, yeah. Yesterday.
They were laning against Fuzzy Sloth on his Magnus, I remember. And it does work. And as they're sort of facing a jungle like that, it's incredibly passive. I think it can definitely work. And even Witch Slayer, if he does rotate down here, he's going to have somewhat of a hard time, because we talked about the laning phase quite poor. So we'll have to see if Witch Slayer stays mid or rotates bottom.
Oh, here we go. Witch Slayer currently in that middle lane. You got Empath, though. Yeah, already making the movement himself, and maybe to harass this Ophelia.
Oh, no, don't say he's going to lose that water sight coming out from Empath. No.
Well, they are going to go in already, and anyways, Witch Slayer, there's the wall for the last second. Insane is going to end up falling right here. That's the last thing he expected. But yeah, look at that ward, as you're saying. Yeah.
I was going to say that was actually really well played coming out from Insania. Obviously, he died. I'm talking about the ward placement. Actually.
Yeah.
That kind of baits out, BMG thinking, oh, he's warded around here somewhere, like, be careful about it. But I thought that warded site was definitely going to be picked up by Handskin there, but maybe he didn't see it. But in the end, it doesn't really matter too much. The good run coming out from Empath, actually, securing the kill on Witcher. And this is what we're talking about. The laning phase coming out from Witcher is really, really weak compared to Magnus Engineer. And Kraken middle lane is kind of weak, but he doesn't really have a way of really stunning unless he gets behind him, and that's just kind of awkward. Really,
so I want to get more of the reasoning of this. So why did he put the word aside down there? Like, what is the logic?
BMG might have, when he comes down here, BMG must have thought, oh, he's already warded maybe down the rune vision.
Okay.
But now he's put it down there, he can have more sort of there's more options of where Insania have ward. Whereas if he plays it straight away, there's kind of only one sort of way he could have pulled it, which is mainly at the room vision. But now he sort of held it.
Okay.
BMG, yeah, it's gonna be a lot harder for them to realise where this ward is placed, pretty much. So actually, well played coming out from Insania. It's kind of higher sort of support tricks. If you know what I mean, it's just making a lot of mind games up for CiC actually. But that was very risky though. I'm almost certain that Hansen was gonna see it. But
yeah. And they could just snatch that up, and that's an extra ward of sight. But obviously not to be. But they got the bloodlust kill, so I think BMG could care less about those nifty little tricks that were coming out right there. But you do see Empath, speaking of him, though, he continues to be a nuisance here as he's putting in a good amount of auto attacks in his lap, and he's also blocked several of his camps now. It took him a little bit of time. The initial spawns happened, but now you have 3 different camps that are blocked for his lap. Middle end in the meantime, crack, and he's actually going to be jumped, or keg stunned backwards, as Magnus had already stunned in. Now he's going to just sit in the steam bath, though, just orient a little bit, and he will be fine as he walks away. But a lot of back and forth action, obviously, in the middle lane, not only being 2v2, but definitely both sides pretty aggressive makeups here when it's all said and done. But bottom lane, it's kind of been a 1v1 for the most part. And again, obviously, Empath has been roaming around quite a bit. But Chipper, I assume he's having the better time, 11-4. Wretched Hag is 8-3. So, yeah, not a huge surprise there once again, especially now with Empath back down here. Yeah, it's somewhat difficult, though, because Hag has that blink. So as long as she doesn't blink offensively or anything like that, she should be fine against this combination. But Empath is still trying to get an opportunity here to set up some kind of gank. And then you have the top lane, though. Again, you got to keep in mind constantly Warby. So level 2 Battlecry already. So that's no doubt coming into effect here in this laning phase, as far as across the board, both for the bottom and the middle lane, and especially for the jungler, for Keeper of the Forest. Enhances his farm so much quicker here as a result of the Battlecry. So, guys, I keep going back to this bottom lane. It's like they're really trying for this. There's the Essence link, but okay, Rocket with the dot damage applied because of the Tartas. There's a blink, and they're going to go in right here. Wall off on the other side, and now Empath needs to be careful, actually. Oh, Hanskin's dead. Yep.
oh no.
That's not what you wanted.
Top lane actually. Oh,
A rune battle here. Is he gonna? I think he's gonna be fine, really. In the maybe not actually. Yeah, they're coming over. Here comes Witcher. The Graveyard Sun hits. He's gonna block him with the trees, but actually, oh, they're gonna stun back in. There's a double stun coming out. Keeper of the Force. He's dropping the wall. Comes out from Empath, but he is invis, so they're not gonna be able to see him. He's using that tree dog to sit next to keep the invis up. Magnus is still chasing, though. He has another stun. He's going to use it on a Witchslayer right here. Essence Link comes out. Witchslayer dropping pretty quickly. Engineer been throwing some auto attacks, and that will be the end of Insania when it's all said and done. So a 2-for-1 exchange right there.
Yeah, I think Insania
now.
thought that Empath actually had a wall there, and that's why he sort of started running down back into them. But I think actually, if he kept on running, I think he might have maybe survived. Obviously, I can't tell for sure, but he sort of turned around. Actually, they're going on to this wall base top as well.
Yeah, they certainly are. And actually, will this be enough? Dr. Pulsar currently out of mana. In fact, he needs to be confident not to get turned on right here. Warby's kind of going back in. Now he's falling back. He's almost baiting them to stay around. But there's no TPs coming in the end. But KZ doing a great job of getting away right there, actually.
Yeah, the wall just the other side of wall base. That was almost guaranteed if Hanskin landed that wall. Is he gonna die to creeps?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, no.
Empath is dead.
No. Oh, wow.
This has been a pretty embarrassing game for Hanskin so far, and actually this might get worse. Dr. Pulsar now, he's in trouble. I mean, he has barely any mana left right here, so he has a little bit of ludicrous speed, but it's not much distance. He buys a TP. If he uses ludicrous speed, he will not be able to TP. Support is coming in, though, so he's not doing the most panic here. He's just playing it very, very safe. Wall comes out, which they're the beautiful Graveyard Sun. Here come the Hellhounds. They're going to be hunting. Dr. Pulsar will fall. There's a turn call to Empath, and this is just falling to pieces now for BMG as far as the sole gank attempt initially.
It's so uncharacteristic of BMG. Like, when do we ever see like Zinc having more players in an engagement other than BMG? Like, it's just so like Magnus didn't have a TP, couldn't really TP in, and like if BMG can't fight it, then they shouldn't even be in a remote place to get picked off really. But really well played coming out from Zinc actually. They're rotating like almost everyone but Keeper. So even for level 6 on Witchslayer, on Kraken, sorry. So yeah, just well played coming out from Zinc, and they deserved and got the kills that they needed. Now they're actually ahead in this game. So.
And actually, Engineer, he's in trouble. There's middle lane action as well, but Engineer's going to be picked off in the jungle. You do see middle lane now. Kraken, he's running away. Chipper, if he lands a rocket, he gets the kill. No, he will not land the rocket. And actually, Kraken might get the turn kill. Limp barely survives. Stuns back into the last second. But Chipper had already taken care of business with that guy close to backfiring. As Fuzi, though, gets the kill on Akazu. So BMG is saying, hold on a second. We're not going to let you start rolling on us. We're going to fight back strong, and that they do right there. So that was quite the circumstance coming out there from both sides as far as the fighting is concerned. But BMG looking good there in the later part of it, though. Again, 2 kills for them, including Fuzi with a kill at the top side. So some close calls, but yeah, both teams coming to play here. Looking for the aggressive play, that's for sure. And Keeper of the Forest, he's okay. Has about 230 gold per minute right here. He's going to come back to the middle lane now. He's almost, I was going to say, he's being somewhat active. He's obviously 0-0-0, but he's been moving around quite a bit, it seems like, instead of doing a static farm.
But I mean, he's level 6 now. That's why his farm's quite low. Though he has been roaming around trying to get something up and roaming. He's doing H now. I think maybe he can rotate mid, actually, mid lane.
Yep, one more auto attack. He gets it off. That was so close, though. The release of Kraken, if it was just a little better placement, it might not have got that auto attack off. And it doesn't matter, though. They get the counter kill on him. Magnus has a root, and the Bat Blast come out. Engineer, though, barely out of range. No, he's not. Flensmaster, he also dodged the keg stun there, which allowed him to blink in and get the kill. Empath, though, he's not out of the woods just yet. The Graveyard's on a beautiful connection from Insania. That's not an easy angle. And he managed to pull it off, and down goes Handskin. This game, man, we're only 8 minutes in.
Definitely.
And it is just back and forth.
Yeah, and you see actually the different skill bit coming out from Insania. He's picked up 2 levels of miniaturization. I definitely think this is the way to go now, especially in the middle lane. We saw him out of middle lane, actually. They're going in.
Are they? I mean, Porta's coming in. They know ultis are down, but look at Hanskin. He ports in, and he's by himself. Oh, so many minions. He just gets completely collapsed. Nothing he can do now. Oh, the Magma stun just a second too late. Wretched had already blinked, and Warbase all of a sudden in ulti form. Dr. Pulsar is here. They're going to pull him back in. They want to get a kill on a Warbase. He is fast, though, of course, as in the ulti form, and they get the kill onto Engineer. Does CiC Esports. So they get the kill. They jet on out of there. Chipper ports in. Just a little bit too late, so...
And this is the CiC we saw in Game 1 against Reason Gaming. They're on top of their form right now, always being exactly the amount of heroes they need. And BMG really kind of lacking actually in this region. So I don't know. I mean, I think actually Chipper didn't have the TP available in that mid fight, and as a result, CiC capitalized. So well play coming out from CiC actually. But yeah, this is the CiC we came to love and see actually in Game 1 against Reason Gaming. So it's definitely going to be an interesting series, that's for sure.
Yeah. Also, this, I mean, again, Hanskin 1-5-1 is not the most ideal start as we're just passing that 9-minute mark, but in the end, it's just been both aggressive play on both sides, even as we have 14 hero kills in total, as that was just even before 9 minutes hit, so you do the math, pretty high average right there. Keeper of the Forest, in the meantime, he's back to farming kind of once again. So as I stated earlier, he was 0-0-0 still. He's still moving around a bit, but now he's 1-0-3, so clearly that movement and trying to get involved has definitely come to fruition here. And now he's back into the jungle, though, and like I also said earlier, with those glowing red hands, his farming presence even that much stronger, as is the rest of his team. So some good potential to work with here on the Legion side. Dr. Pulsar remains the top farmer in the game, though, with all this said. Steam Boots picked up on top of the Grave Locket, so some pretty good build-up. Bottom lane, Keeper of the Forest root coming out on top of the Bat Blast. Chipper puts the chainsaws down, but there's not the most follow-up as Empath to level 3. And, I mean, he even had a wall, but doesn't even choose to use it right there. Probably wouldn't have mattered in the end. So, nice little gank on a Chipper. And he now is delayed amongst his farm as he's about 245 gold per minute right here. And, I mean, this is a Chipper that was kind of set up to have some decent farm earlier on because of the laning situation. Not doing the best.
And honestly, I think it comes back on mid lane. Actually, they're going to try to set something on this Kraken.
Are they? Empath, again, level 3, but has that wall still. Yeah, it's too safe, though.
No, I think it actually goes back to, not to flame Handskin or anything, but I think it actually goes back to Handskin dying to Hag 1v1. Obviously, they dive, tried to get the kill on Hag, and then end up Hag getting the return kill, and that just reduces the lane presence, and then Empath went top, and then just left Chipper alone, and this has led to Hag getting a lot of farm, and now she's 330 GPM compared to 230 on Chipper, and
Limp went from full, well, basically it went from full life to nothing in just a second. I mean, it was just your classic Witch Slayer move of stun, immediate silver bullet, and then actually release the Kraken used to just do the job in there on a Magnus. So, yeah, that was just simply too much burst to handle coming out right there. You could say, I mean, Mystic Vestments are pretty important. It's tough, though, because Mystic Vestments yeah, we got the top lane, a big action coming out. Dr. Pulsar out of mana, though, once again. He has barely any left. He uses the rest of it right there as they're going to chase him back. They deny the tower. They get the 1 kill on a Handskin. Can they chase down Dr. Pulsar? Look at the eruption from Magnus in top of the chainsaws. Big turnaround from Bad Monkey Gaming. Will it still work out in the end? Energy field goes down. Kraken, he's caught in the midst of it, as is Witchslayer. Witchslayer does fall. Magnus, he has another stun coming up in 1 second. There we go. Kraken takes the brunt of that. In comes the Keeper of the Force Invis, but the dust was used so they can see this Kraken. Shipper, he has rockets to go. The rocket barrage in the face of Keeper. He gets the kill. He has another rocket coming up in a second. Not enough mana. Now he has it. The rocket. No, just a little sidestep from Mickey right there. Is it enough in the end, though? Magnus has another stun in 4 seconds going to be coming out. But look at that present right there. Now they block him off, but he has the Invis rune, and he's going to be fine. Oh, geez. Yeah, talk about a big rune. Spawn right there.
But still, oh my god, Limp. Jeez, that eruption turned that team fight completely 4-0 just because of this one Magnus play. Absolutely insane coming out from Limp, as usual. But yeah, that completely turned the game there, or the fight definitely for BMG. It was looking really bad. I thought, CiC were going to take that team fight, but no, that eruption, absolutely insane. And now BMG were definitely in it. They were down like 3,000 gold, 3,000 experience, but not now. They're definitely back in it. They're trying to get the Kraken up top. No, they can't reach him in the end. But yeah, well played coming out from Limp though, single-handedly taking that one team fight.
Yeah, I mean, Limp has history of doing that, obviously, throughout his play and making the big plays for the team and keeping them in it and definitely climbing them back in. Warbeast, yeah, top lane. You see Dr. Pulse there. That's his power right there. He constantly chases him down, and he doesn't care about the haste, movement, speed, and ulti for him. He can chase him down as long as he has the mana for it. And surely enough, he did. So that's a big another kill coming out. Jonas Fan actually getting credit for the kill. And, this is the chipper that we're talking about was, not having the best of farm, especially for his situation, but now he's over that 300 GPM hump. Looking pretty good. Engineer, in the meantime, they're doing some counter warding. Might come at a cost, though. Silver Bullet just coming off cooldown. That's unfortunate, because if it came out cooldown a couple seconds earlier, Engineer probably would be dead. But it would have been close, but in the end, he does get away. And yeah exactly.
I have to admit, this Witchslayer is doing so much work. Though we saw him do absolute, tons of work actually, just setting up ganks, setting up kills, and that top lane was, was started thanks to him getting the kill on the empath, and until the Magnus turned around. I honestly think this Witchslayer is doing a lot of work, and I can see why they're starting to pick it up and put really a lot of focus and emphasis on this hero, because I think it's a really strong support hero. I mean, it has so much burst that most support heroes don't really offer, but I'm looking forward to seeing him pick up a portal key and do some.
When Z-Freak, obviously, his support play for Stay Green, he was very open to suggest that the Pyromancer, the Witchslayer even, those kind of supports, because of the burst that they bring, it's powerful. I know Swinamelons is, of course, on the same level in terms of suggesting that. So, Stay Green, no longer part of the scene. And, just in general, a lot of the meta has kind of shifted. So, yeah, those kind of died out, but exactly. I guess where I'm getting at is we shouldn't be too surprised at the same time. So middle lane, yeah, we see Wretched Act going to be fine, but Keeper of the Forest maybe not so fine. That is a Rev 4 that's going to end up spotting him too. He gets pulled in, and down goes Keeper of the Forest. So that Rev 4 being there from earlier and actually helps him snipe him out. Actually, middle lane now, Kraken, he charges back. That's an illusion, right? Yeah, that's just an illusion, Magnus. So not really getting the turn kill that they were looking for. And actually, this could be, no Keeper of the Force. What are they doing in D? Kraken, he's going to end up dying right off the bat. Chainsaws come out. No, they will get the pick on the Empath, but he's died 7 times already. Why does that matter? Tower goes down. So it's like, okay, you can have that at this point.
No flame, but 7 kills. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, that was a little bit questionable to defend. Obviously, they picked up the Empath, but like you said, 7 deaths is not really a big deal. Picks off the Kraken as a result of BMG. Obviously, a lot more impactful instead. But I mean, CiC are still definitely in this. They're slowly, just a little bit behind in terms of gold, but they're actually ahead in XP. And I think they definitely have the stronger late game with the Warbeast Kraken as well as the Hag and the Keeper. Actually, it's just really the Doctor Repulsor that is going to keep them in the late game for BMG. So as long as CiC can maybe hold on for another 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes without losing too much, I think CiC definitely have this game as well as Witchslayer. I think it's offering a lot more actually than this Empath at the moment, but just in general, like the burst damage and the lockdown is just insane. We talked about it earlier, but yeah, I'm really liking this Witchslayer pickup actually. It's awesome. Now
Fuzi going the Hellflower route here once again. I believe we talked about that kind of earlier. No, that was the other series, so. It wasn't Fuzi, definitely, but we talked about that earlier. And he's kind of going to the same thing here, where not going the Icon, he's going the Hellflower instead.
Yeah, I think that's okay, because I think with Icon, although they are doing a lot more kills than the Doctor than in the last game, but you want to get it early enough to get enough charge on it, because otherwise it's like there's no point of getting it. And so And at the same time, Hellfly is honestly a really strong pick. Bottom lane.
Bottom lane, they are in pursuit, especially the Warbeast in the front lines. The Steam Bath going to be used by Limp quickly right there. He has a Portkey, stuns back in though. Doctor Pulse starts the party. A big energy field coming in as well. Root will be used by keeping the force out to the side, but Kraken's dead off the bat. Chipper in the meantime, he comes in the chainsaw's throwing down. Warbeast still in that ulti farm. The wall at the last second is probably dead anyways though. He got cut off. Wretched Hag, she gets a Bat Blast out. Pretty good damage, but she jets the hell out of there as her steam is obviously melting around her. Yet again, they get Hanskin killed, but that's all they get, and BMG absolutely just fine with that. A 4-for-1 exchange. Remember, that all started with CiC chasing onto the Magnus, who ended up basically getting an ideal initiation with it anyways, and set all lit up to follow. So.
And at the same time, CiC don't want to take these team fights. It's BMG that need these team fights to happen to get the golden XP, because obviously the later this goes on, CiC are going to be in like a better position. So BMG want to fight now. They've got the core items. They want to fight, and CiC don't want to fight at all. They don't have the shrunken on nowhere near shrunken head on Warbeast, let alone Wretched Hag. Like, they need their core items before they can fight, and BMG are ready to fight now. They've got their core items. CiC is far, far away before they get their core items. So CiC need to just chill. Do what they did in Game 1 against Reason Gaming, where they sort of split push with the Keeper and the Warbeast. Like, just don't take fights. Like, you don't have to. Like, you've got the late game. Just chill and hold on. If they are going to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a Wretched Hag who gets the light brand finished. So, of course, the ideal again, the Grimoire going to be coming out, stacking some Ancients right here. Actually has a double damage and bottled up even, so going to assist with that farm. But there's the Hellflower finished in full already on Fuzi. So he got the first Arcana, and obviously, especially what happened at the bottom lane with that team fight breaking out, he now has it shortly after being 2-1-9, 11 kills he's been involved in already also helps, of course. How about this pickup, though, too, by Chipper? Spell Shards coming out here. Not your go-to item usually that we see, but Jonas a fan favoring them here. As actually we do have initiation, though. Warbeast's going to be jumping in the background. He pops the ulti immediately, of course, to try to run away. In comes Energy Field once again as Engineer gets caught by the release of Kraken. He's still alive. He finally falls with a splash attack, but Kraken's going to fall in pursuit as well. When it's all said and done, Keeper of the Force has a root. Oh, this could be a big root. Magnus stunned out just prior to it, though. He's going to hide in that Steam Bath, but Chipper is going to end up falling. Dr. Pulse being locked down. He couldn't use a ludicrous spin as a result, and down he falls. Big turnaround for CiC there at the end. And actually, it's not over just yet. Empath, well, of course he has to die, too, in the end. There you go. A hat trick for Wretched Hag.
Absolutely well played coming over from Sonya, getting the perfect graveyard stun onto two heroes, and then miniaturizing the Doctor Repulsor, securing that kill. Absolutely well played. Magus Eruption though.
Yeah, this could be big. Will it be enough lockdown in the end? Wretched Hag, the turret. No, the keg stun just couldn't come in time. I mean, the idea was there, the communication was there, but just the timing was a little bit off between the two.
I mean, and the team fight going back actually was a little bit awkward coming out from BMG. I mean, Magnus wasn't there. Obviously, didn't use the eruption because he just used it there on the Wretched Hag, and like a few spells not being used or a few heroes not being involved in the team fight can completely sway it into CiC's favour. And in the end, I've been saying that Zimps should maybe try and dodge team fight. Oh, bottom lane.
Yeah, they're going to chase this Warbeast. They're going to make him pay for trying to commit to a tower kill, and that they do. Yeah, he had ulti-form coming up, but he did buy the Abyssal Skull in full. Out of the Ring of Torch that occurs right before, and they got the tower kill. Yeah, so actually, you can't be too disappointed in that. If you're CiC Esports right there. As the Portal Key also picked up by Mickey right now in the end. So while I mean, this game will just continue to have action. I mean, already 36 hero kills now, 18-18, 20 minutes in. But the Spell Shards going to come into play right here maybe.
Middle lane.
Yeah, they want to pursue, but I don't know if they're going to actually find him in the end.
Yeah, I actually think the Spell Shards is really, really strong because now they've changed it, actually. It really benefits, if you're going against heroes that have vestments. Obviously, Kraken has vestments, Witch Slayer probably going to pick up vestments. Oh, actually, Witch Slayer might be in trouble talking about
at the same time, Engineer's in trouble. Release Kraken out. Kraken's going to go TP because, oh no, he cancels it actually. And then he finishes off for the kill. I was going to say, he thought that the kill was going to happen, but it wasn't. But now his TP's off cooldown, and they know that. BMG knows that, so they don't go for the kill on a Witch Slayer. Instead, they want to kill the more priority target in Kraken. Is this going to happen, though? I don't know if it is. He already used the Portkey. There's a stun, and the rocket misses initially, but now they got the other rockets. No, he gets the charge off before. So that works out pretty well for Mickey.
I actually think Doctor should have maybe TP'd and just went YOLO for him. But.
Oh, true. Speaking of Doctor, he's having issues down here.
like if Doctor TP's in there to like the tier 2 top, I think they can just ulti onto Kraken and he's gonna die. He had a TP ready. I don't know why he didn't honestly do it. Like the hero is so strong. The mobility of him is so long and so strong. Like Kraken was nowhere near his team fight, so even if he lost all his mana, he's not in danger of dying because it's only Kraken by himself. They are going to take triple stack Ancients here. I think CiC can maybe defend actually if they want to.
Depends on how much they use. Maybe do they have chainsaw? They do have chainsaws. He's not using that though. I was going to say if he uses that, probably not. But actually, in the end, keeping the forces coming in. Root's going to be used right here, right off the bat. Magnus taking the brunt of that. In comes a Bat Plus. Going to get at least a stun off. Yes, he can. Dr. Bolton turns it around. They get 1 kill. They get 2. Witchslayer keeping the force down. Wretched Egg going to be pulled in the background. Warbeast is chasing Chipper. We see Empath inside Dr. Pulse, though, flying around. Wretched Egg faking the blink right there. She will finally blink as the energy field is put down. And now Dr. Pulse, he has to get the hell on out of there. Chipper is dead. Engineer, he probably is going to be dead right here. So, yeah, as soon as the energy field wears off, he definitely will fall in the end. So those triple stack Ancients, probably not worth it for BMG. Now Empath, she needs to stay alive here. Probably not going to happen, though. Kraken with the cutoff and the portal key and the sonar screen to finish him off. So, yeah, CiC Esports, they're getting a lot of momentum.
Greedy.
Yep.
Greedy's feed, as they say, Greedy's feed. Like, I mean, yeah, it's a good idea to take triple stack Ancients because, you know, they don't want to sort of give them to CiC because, you know, the stronger late game. At the same time, you can't be doing triple stack Ancients with no vision, particularly if they're going against Invis. They did eventually, top lane, they're going to Kraken.
They're going to try to. They are, but Dr. Pulsar just cannot really do enough right there. So Kraken does make the escape.
But yeah, like going back to like they were going out to Invis Keeper. Like Keeper was on him the whole time. They eventually did dust, but in the end it was just too late. I mean, great stun coming out from Magnus, but in the end it just wasn't enough. They were just out of position. BMG. They weren't in a position really to let the eruption on Magnus happen because you know they're in a weird position trying to take triple stack Ancients from CiC. And as a result, they lost the team fight, and now you know CiC are back in this game. They're actually leading in this game now, actually.
Yeah.
Which is definitely a scary point for BMG. They've got a lot of early aggression, and when this gets to the late game, I mean CiC are definitely going to be in the favoured position.
Limp does have the tablet portal key combination on Magnus, though, and again we know what he can do with that. Him and Mickey are the star players on this hero as of late, and they've definitely had some big performances. So obviously BMG going to hope for that once again. Dr. Pulsar as well continues to be the top farmer in the game, and he has a shrunken head in the works. But the Grimoire is finished now on a Wretched Hag, so I wouldn't be surprised if that changes, as he's already at about 425 GPM top lane. In the meantime, Dr. Pulsar gets the kill on a Witchslayer. You see Warbeast, he's like, I don't have a stun, bro. Nothing more I can do other than put an auto attack. So good kill coming out there for Doctor. And actually, yeah, Warbeast now might be in trouble, as they're going to dive. Here comes Magnus. Another port is going to be coming into that electric turret laid down. The stun from Empath, but she's kind of in a bad spot herself as Kraken ports in. But he can't do much of a response. Empath, is he going to be able to escape? This is very close, though, to being...
This is bad. This is bad.
Legion team is going in. There is a Rev Ward down. They see Keeper the Force. They have another Rev Ward down. They really want to scout him. In comes Arita, hits Magnus, actually, locking him down. But Kraken's going to end up falling in the background, so the root pretty much wasted right there in a sense. And now Magnus going to step back in and Keeper. Dust is used. They really want to make sure the Invis is not powerful right here. Big Bat Blast coming in. It's multiple heroes. Is it enough for a kill, though? It is not. Magnus just hides in the steam bath, and he is going to be fine for now. Warby's on the outskirts. He doesn't have ulti for him, so I'd be really scared if I was him.
This is so bad for CiC. They can get picked off so easily right now.
It's so crazy of a fight right here. They're being so timid, but here we go. The commitment now coming out. The Rocket Barrage in the face of Hag, and Hag will fall. The Chainsaw's assisting as well, and now the wall off from Empath coming out. Witchslayer and Keeper the Force both in trouble. Warbeast has ulti for him coming up in 2 seconds, but they need to run. They can't stick around. Keeper the Force is dusted. He eventually will fall, and yeah, it is falling apart for CiC right here. So Witchslayer shows himself right there, missing a graveyard stun. And now he is going to be chased down and will most likely fall. The wall off from Hanskin. He's had a horrible start, but he's landed some pretty big walls here. And down goes Witchslayer. This is just a teeter-totter game, man. I don't know.
Yeah, like, CiC was so far ahead that it makes no sense. They got, I think, I think Kraken or I think it was Warbeast got picked off, and then they tried to fight a 4v5. Like, you just don't do that. And then they had a chance to back off, and they still wanted to keep going. And I was like, no, just get back. And still they stayed in, and as a result, I mean, BMG are back ahead in this game, and you know, a few misplays like that can definitely be the difference between winning and losing a game.
Hey, we almost have 50 hero kills between these two teams. I mean, that's where at least the entertainment's being provided. But yeah, no doubt both teams having these mistakes here between one another. But what's done is done, and again, we like whenever we got to stop saying this team's down a good spot because clearly that doesn't exist here in this game.
Yeah, exactly.
Both teams have good chances apparently always. So Chipper, he has a glowstone. They're trying to clean up these triple stack ancients here. He did use the chainsaws, and again that staff of the master. You can argue that's even a core item on him.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
so
definitely.
Wants to get that here, and again, especially since it is superior, at least the slow effect goes through those shrunken heads. So very, very powerful tool. Speaking of that, shrunken head finished on Dr. Repulsor in the meantime. So he even becomes more powerful and now has a tool to get out of that keeper route, as well as mitigate damage. So I would ask you, should we expect them to continue to play aggressive now? But I mean, that's going to happen. So
yeah, it's BMG, but they do need to play aggressive lower. We did talk about how CiC does have the superior late game. I mean, they could even maybe try and go for Congo. They don't have the strongest Congo team, but I think they have the Hellborn advantage, and they're looking to go over there maybe now. No, like they don't have like the heroes to really do like we normally see like Madman, like Cracker, like just those kind of heroes that can get maybe Abyssal. And oh, they're going in.
Fuzi flying a little too far right there, but it doesn't matter. Witchslayer doesn't stand a chance, especially with the Hellflower. He couldn't do anything to react to that. So big pick off right there. Now keep it the forest. Okay, no, he's not going to be spotted. There is a Rev Ward and Engineer, though. I think they almost know that he's kind of nearby. And actually, he's being blocked. They know he's here. Yep, the Rev Ward is spotted. Beautiful catch on a keeper.
I'm face palming so hard right now. This is so like frustrating. Like CiC, we're so close to like take. They can definitely take this game still, but like these pickoffs from BMG are just pushing further, BMG further and further, and they don't even care about Congo. They're going for the tier 2. Even might even push on to the racks. Actually, we do see Warbeast pushing up top. He really needs that shrunken head if he's going to do anything. He's closing on it, 1,000 gold away, and maybe that might be the game changer.
Yeah.
Iron pickup to really push CiC back out in front.
So yeah, pushing the secondary tower, now going to start falling back. And again, Chipper very, very close to finishing that staff of the master. Once again, a huge item pickup, but even more so, Blessed Orb on Magnus, so Sheepstick in the works. Whatever item Fuzi wants to go for next, another 2,500 gold on him. Big items coming out now. Yeah, I get to say, though, CiC Esports, they do have some good progression themselves still going. They got to including the Warbeast and the Wretched Hag, some a lot of gold being pulled up. I'm sure Shrunken Heads for them, and then even Kraken. So we're going to see a lot of Shrunken Heads this game to be coming out more so on the Legion side even. Yeah,
like if they can pick up Shrunken Heads, like Hellborn almost do nothing. The only kind of physical presence is Doctor Repulsor, and even that is very, very minimal. If we can see Shrunken Heads on Kraken, Warbeast, and Hag, I think that the team fight is going to be heavily in favour of Legion. It just depends on if they can get them before losing the game before. And we see Magnus here in Vismai try and pick off Kraken and Warbeast perhaps.
Yeah,
we'll need support there.
Okay, yeah, it's Limp likes to man up, sure, but in this case, yeah, probably needs at least one man to come in here and assist, and doesn't look like it is going to happen. So in the end, we'll actually just continue to scout things around and look to get some information for his team. As we do see now going to the top lane, Warbeast and Magnus up here. He stuns them both. Here comes Dr. Repulsor. The eruption being channeled. They can't stop it. Kraken's going to end up falling. Warbeast did ulti for him to run away. The wall not doing the best right there, but at least the job beforehand gets it done. And this gank just continues, man. Yeah. They are at a state now where it is difficult because Doctor's really farmed, Magnus is really farmed. It's tough.
So being very cancerous, that hero. But yeah, like the hard thing is that CiC need to group up because the ganking potential of BMG is particularly strong, particularly with Doctor Repulsor. But like at the same time, they can't group up because they're so far behind in terms of gold and XP. Because if they do it, they're going to end up just dying anyway. So they're kind of in a really, really bad position. They really need these stronger heads on Warbeast and Kraken as well as Wretched Hag. They're closing on it, but like it's going to be so close if they can get them before this game is over. Like 12,000 XP lead for BMG as well as the 8,000 gold lead. They're taking the Congo.
Yeah.
This is looking very, very bad for CiC Esports.
Now, they just put those shrunken heads, so again, can they stop this? Do they even know what's going on? They have zero vision, so probably not. Process of elimination would suggest that maybe they're doing it, but at the same time, I mean, Chipper's farming bottom, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just completely are unaware that that Congo is sure enough happening, and as soon as this message pops up, maybe a little bit of, oh crap, going to be coming out for CiC Esports, but it is going to happen for sure, and in fact, Magnus also had a regen rune, which he pops as soon as they finish off Congo right there to go back to full life and full mana. So it is going to be picked up on Doctor. We talked about that earlier. Actually, Magnus stuns it on the Kraken here. Here comes the Doctor falling. Oh, just not enough mana, though. He ran out right before getting over the ledge, and that was awkward.
very lucky for Mickey there. That would have been so bad if they dropped another hero as
Yeah.
well. They do have token on Dr. Repulsor, and that's, like we talked about last game, obviously Torture a really big pickup for token, but Doctor even more so perhaps because of the sort of carry potential he has. And I mean, CiC are trying to counter push, but at the same time they can't group up anymore, because if they do group up and BMG take a team fight, then that's almost game for them. I mean, Kraken's closing on his Shrunken Head. That's going to be a really big pickup, and I think that's when they can maybe start winning these team fights. They're grouping up top. This could be a big
Tower.
It's gonna go.
Still got some good life. Dr. Post, though, again, has that token of life, so it's really hard for CiC Esports to feel comfortable committing to a fight right here by all means, and understandably they do start retreating. Hopefully for their sake they don't get picked off as they are, and it looks like they should be fine, though, as they do get back. But yeah, I got to talk about earlier, Torture, definitely one of those top candidates for token. It's other person on that list is most certainly Dr. Repulsor, having the token of life. So good to go with that. Keeper of the Force just continues to stick around a little bit. He does have that portal key, obviously. So speaking of the Shrunken Heads, a lot of those being picked up. Obviously, they have 3 portal keys as well on the Legion side. So a lot of similar items in that sense. What did Magnus? Did he just get this? Okay, he has enough for a sheep stick now. Or just about there, at least. So, yeah, he's going to finish those off. Frost Field Plate going to be the item choice here for Dr. Repulsor, not a sheep stick.
Yeah, well, we saw actually Lodestone pick up Frost. Oh wait,
And Magmus.
That's
No.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
No, that must have been a misclick.
Okay, right.
It was, okay.
Because Frostwood Plate is a really strong item. Like whoever picks up, because we talked about the 20%. But I'd actually like to see the Frostfield Plate on Magmus and the Sheepstick on Doctor, just because they're more gank potential this Doctor has, and obviously Sheepstick's going to help them with that. Frostfield Plate not offering that much of gank potential, obviously more team fight because of the reduction in attack speed, and so as long as one of them has it, and I just think a Doctor would be better with the Sheepstick, but not the biggest of deals. Obviously offering a lot more armor onto him, which he needs against the Spore Beast and Hag, so maybe not the biggest of deals, but still maybe I would have preferred the Sheepstick on Dr. Repulsor.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're stun in. Yep, give it the Force. Again, they burst him down before he gets this root off. It looks like they're on the way to do that. Lex Taliona's buff even coming out right here. Give it the Force, barely alive. He will fall, maybe. Yes, finally falls. When it's all said and done, there's more fight going on. Dr. Repulsor kind of spreading them out in the background. Witch Slayer, he's going to be bursted before he does much else. So, yeah, your case of CiC, they just couldn't do anything as a team right there. The jump was just way too strong.
And the reason, honestly, why this team fight was won is because this one ward coming out from Silk Kid, oh my god, this ward is like, we don't normally see it because it's so easily countered, but like BMG, obviously, they want to engage away from the tower, away from the racks, because they want to have like a preferred sort of tactical position. If they're fighting uphill, it's going to be a lot harder. And now Strongman's picked up for Zinc, like they would have been perfect for them just to take a team fight in their base, but they got caught out farming, and BMG's well done to sort of capitalise on that somewhat of a mistake. And now they're pushing onto Rex, and now they're 21,000 XP down. And this is what I'm talking about. They had to make sure they weren't too far behind before they got their Shrunken Heads, because it might be too late now. But we'll have to see in the next team fight.
Yeah, there's a tower kill. You do see Wretched Hag. She is going to port back to base. Will they commit to a fight right now? Rack's just about dead. It's probably going to end up falling anyways. But here goes the commitment. The crack in the fall. So Chippers, chainsaws. Doing way too much. Doctor is going to be taken up again. He has that token of life. He's going to be fine. War Beast in that Shrunken Head. He takes out the energy field. But now Dr. Pulsar is flying around yet again. Kraken going to be taking the rocket barrage to the face. He eventually falls. And now War Beast with no more Shrunken Head. He's going to be having to be pretty scared here as far as chasing. Wretched Hag in the meantime, she will go down as well. Doctor's just flying around left and right. Magnus the only one dead so far here on the Hellborn side. And that's probably going to stay that way. Casey does get picked up, and the turret barely gets up. Fuzi gets a quad kill. He's going to be going for the Annihilation. Will he pick it up as a question? A couple more auto attacks. Yes, he will. Annihilation for Fuzi, and that should probably take care of business when it's all said and done. Obviously, we see a couple buybacks coming out, but ultimately it's just BMG just so far ahead now after that fight especially.
I mean, they were so far ahead in that team fight, and that's why it went so well. I mean, the hero composition and item composition for Zinc is definitely in favour in terms of sort of team fighting, but when you're like 20,000 gold behind and like 20,000 XP behind in a team fight, it's going to go in favour of the person with the 20,000 lead. And as a result, BMG take that fight. Like, that Dr. Repulsor is so much work. He's so farmed right now. 600 GPM. He's just absolutely going ham in those team fights. And they just don't have the potential to really lock him down. I mean, Kraken obviously went for Magnus in the start, and okay, it was kind of crazy. 2 disconnects instantly. But
all right, somebody's landing. That's that's kind of fun. But yeah, so obviously they'll be right back as apparently it's starting to reconnect, but it's not actually going all the way through. So maybe just a quick hiccup right there, and then come back in. But yeah, that would be that was pretty awkward right there. But obviously BMG just so far ahead right now. Again, to say the least, even going into that fight now after it. So you have a case here as now Jonas Van disconnecting. That was probably more of a. You just might as well restart, I guess. Hopefully nothing too serious here. That would be just the most awkward timing of all, with him being so far ahead. And then it's just like, that's what CiC was hoping for, though. Just make the game last long enough. And then make them DC, and then be like, oh, look at that. We have a comeback chance. Chipper, obviously, the portal key himself. He's actually might be in a little bit of trouble here. Which I still have a silver bullet, yeah. Chipper probably going to be in some trouble when he comes back in, but alright, so a couple of timeouts happening. Again,
you been watching any of Wimbledon breaking?
Oh no, I could care less about tennis.
It's the only sport that England's still in it. Like I've got to have.
Cool. You want to call it a sport, I guess? Sure.
Oh damn.
No, I don't care for that. I don't watch it or anything, so. But
America playing Belgium tomorrow? Big game.
That's what matters. That's what really matters. Yeah, that's Germany is actually okay. Yeah, they are winning. They're actually in overtime. It looks like against Algeria. Germany's up 1-0. They scored in overtime, so 111th minute. Not much time left in that one, but yeah, USA versus Belgium tomorrow.
What's the score going to be? Bets right now.
Oh, USA is going to win 3-0.
3-0. That's
Easy.
A bold prediction.
Easy.
What about Fellaini? Belgium.
I don't even know where Belgium is. Doesn't matter.
I don't even know where Belgium is.
I'm American. I don't care.
American. Oh
USA's
man.
got this.
USA.
USA. We got one guy coming back. What is his name? Altidore, I believe is his name.
Yeah,
yeah, he's going to be coming back. So
that's
obviously good news too. But yeah, America's going to win, so I'm not even too worried. But we'll see. All right, so they're good to go. Looks like here for game number 2. Once again, BMG obviously in a very, very comfortable spot. Shout out to Papa Dredge.
Yeah, they were jumping onto Chipper, but they let him die, or they let him live because he DC'd or something. I think that's
Oh, okay.
Kraken and Witchlow were jumping in, but he DC'd, so
That's
they just
right. Okay.
hashtag manners.
That's kind. Shout out to Papa Dredge. I'll join that train. He is a good guy. He is a good guy. All right. Anywho, Legion team once again. So back to the game here. They got the shrunken heads, kind of. I mean, even Mickey's still trying to work on his. Been in the works for a while, but yeah, even when he gets that, it's at a point of you still need a lot more now. In that case of that. So top lane, they're trying to set up a gank, but the Hellhound's actually scouting out all of this. Casey's doing a pretty good job of using those Hellhounds as he does to make sure that they're not going to be sneaking up onto them. So I almost saw Empath. She bought a Soul's Bulwark, actually, but then she sold it. So, bottom lane, though, they're going to go for the gank on a Wretched Hack. Out comes a Sheep Stick, the Eruption, the Lux Halionis applied. Is this enough damage? Not even close, actually. Look at this, though. Tablet by Magnus. He was banking that he was going to blink that way, but he popped a Shrunken Head anyway, so
that's still
really
really risky that he was farming. Like, I mean, that could have been Doctor, and that was a definite kill if that was Doctor. I mean, he did see Doctor at the top lane, but still, like, that's somewhat risky. Play came out from Flen's Mars. They did have to use force a BKB pop, actually. So, I mean, the BMG might even try and capitalize on this if they want to.
6,000 gold almost on Doctor, and he's going to go for a kill right here. Now, this is some bait coming out. In comes a keeper. Everybody's here. Doctor, big mistake, but that's Dr. Repulsor for you. He just pops a Shrunken Head, and he jets on out of there with his ultimate. In fact, now they're still going to be going for a turnaround. Engineer with the big energy field that cuts them off. Oh, it's destroyed immediately, though, so good job by CiC Esports right there. And Engineer actually going to be bursting down. Paplas coming out, Silver Bullet as well. Empath now in some trouble. She's left behind. She did not as one Dr. Repulsor right there. That was kind of curious. After kind of left before she could, I guess. So, well, double tap for Insania right there. It's a step in the right direction, at least, for CiC Esports.
Yeah, definitely. A few more of those, and they could somewhat get back into this game. I mean, they have lost their Rax middle, but on top lane.
Yep. Look at that Chipper. Jeez, that was a lot of damage.
Oh, Doctor Repulsor.
Chasing Doctor, yeah. It's not going to be enough for the power drain. A little too weak in the end. Is that a level? It's level 3 power drain, but yeah, he just has so much mana.
Yeah.
Didn't really do too much. Okay, Chipper's now caught out. He does not have his chainsaw, so he's just going to go for the run again. Look at Witchstar. He mana drains the creep off to the side so he can portal key in and graveyard stun. Nice heads-up play from Zany right there. And, well, as you stated, I mean, a couple more of these.
Yeah, definitely still in this game. Like, they've only lost their middle racks, and although BMG are like 18,000 gold ahead and like 26,000 XP, like it doesn't mean honestly that much because obviously the stronger heads coming out from. I think Kraken's going to be able to pick his up here now as well. It's going to be actually like more like a 5k gold lead, honestly. I mean, Doctor Repulsor is insanely fond, but that's all they kind of have really. Like after Strong heads are being popped, like Chipper does nothing, Magnus does nothing, Engineer does nothing. It's really Doctor Repulsor, and even he is fully magical damage. Like. I mean, if they can somehow like lock down a drop to Repulsor in this one team fight, I mean, I think Zing might even have it. Like, I know like the gold and XP lead is a lot, but it's kind of misleading, particularly with like the strategy that BMG have got.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair, and BMG at the same time, and you look at how they're playing this. It seems like they are playing a little bit more open, as if they are in a very good spot, which again they are, but. You kind of wonder if their mental state is, okay, maybe realizing that this isn't 100% over just yet, so let's go ahead and make sure that we take care of business here. I mean, you have a level 25 Dr. Repulsor here. He's the first one to hit that, of course, in this game. But Flensmeister doing pretty solid on the Wretched Deck, continuing to do so even. So maybe some just counter ward going on right there. An empath. That's an illusion empath, so that would be why it's dying so quickly to those minions. Going to be fine, though. Engineer has that portal key ready to jump in. If a fight calls for it, it seems like BMG maybe want to make a move right here.
I honestly think BMG should wait. They should try and get a pick-off before they push. They don't have even Congo or even the pick-off because they don't have the pushing potential. They don't have like Ophelia. They might get this pick-off on top lane actually. Yeah, this could be it.
Yep, he's in trouble. Warby's in trouble. There we go. The wall comes out. The stun from Empath. And here's a follow-up for Dr. Pulsar and Frostfield Play going to be used. Won't slow him down. Of course, look at the sheep stick running away. That's always fun to see, but in the end, not enough. So Fuzi gets credit for the kill right there.
That's exactly what they needed, honestly, because like pushing 5v5 is just quite risky, but now 4v5, I mean, Warby says of a buyback.
But he ultied. He won't have an ulti even if he does buy back. Kraken in the meantime, burst it down so quick right there. Middle's already been taken care of. Obviously, they're going to follow this up. Witchslayer now, he's being bursted down. Immortal for Fuzi. Oh, yeah, by the way, Dr. Pulsar, he has an Immortal. 17-2 and 17. Imagine if he had an Icon of the Goddess this game earlier on. That'd be at a ridiculous amount of charges. Now, in the meantime, we do have a chase, though. Wretched got one last stand here for CiC Esports. In comes the energy field. Eruption going to be channeled, though. The Bat Blast hits. A lot of Shuriken heads are up, though. They do burst down Dr. Repulsor. So there's something for CiC Esports, but Warby's going to get turned on right away. And he eventually falls. Wretched Hag, she doesn't want to overcommit right here. As BMG still well alive, even without that Dr. Repulsor, including Insania, he's in trouble now. Rockets hitting. There's a stun for Magnus, and down falls Witchslayer. So now it's just a Wretched Hag right here. And there is the vote to concede at least. Going to be coming out. GG. Well played, BMG. Will take game number 2, and thus they take the series.
Just a little bit too much for Zinc to handle. There's so much kills and so much roam coming out from BMG. But it's pretty well played, though. Zinc couldn't hold on. The BMG roam was just too much. That Dr. Repulsor, insane amount of farm in the end.
Yeah. Well, so BMG does take the series again, 2-0 in the end. So, you look at that score on paper. It's by no means was a completely one-sided series at all, and you wouldn't expect that. But Bad Monkey Gaming just had a little too much firepower throughout both of those games. And again, the Warbeast, I still like to see the Warbeast kind of coming back for Casey. He does play very well, and it's obviously a very strong hero. But clearly, BMG showed that it can be handled at the same time here, with what they brought to the table with their strategy of a very active ganking, as you were kind of hinting at in that drafting stage altogether. So BMG 2-0 over CiC Esports, and that puts them in a pretty good spot. With that said, that's now they got 4 games out of the way, and that actually bumps them up to 11 points and puts them second place for now. CiC still technically ahead, but they have played that extra game. In fact, they've played 2 more games now than Bad Monkey Gaming. So yeah, safe to say BMG in the very good spot. And again, the matchup against one another, that really will help determine a lot too. Between these 2 teams and where they're ultimately going to be placed, I'm sure, at the end. But, yeah, still plenty of season left, and again, eventually in the playoffs, if they manage to meet up, which could be very possible, of course. So That's going to do it for today, though. As far as coverage, again, we had 2 matches in the end on what is a Monday. Not typical, but I ain't complaining. I'm sure you guys aren't either. And had some fun here. Before we officially start wrapping up, I want to give a shout-out to Zlapt. Apparently, it was his birthday. Actually, it's now officially his birthday because it is Tuesday over there in Sweden.
Oh yeah,
as it's just a half hour past midnight. So happy birthday to Zlapt, and not the best birthday here, I guess, to start things off with a loss. But hey, it's a birthday nonetheless, and good guy indeed. So happy birthday to him. And there you go. Mini Maggot, are you going to sing happy birthday? No, don't do that. Mini Maggot, any shout outs, anything else you want to say here?
Just pretty well played character from BMG, honestly. I think they deserved the series win in the end. A close game, honestly. All 2 games, actually. But other than that, shout out to my team, Instant Reflex. Thanks for having me again, Break. It was really good fun.
As always, appreciate it. Now, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, Honcast, we are going to be on the MIA here for a little bit, and not too long, for the rest of the week, basically. I'm going to be going out of town. With that said, so we do got community casters, obviously, and as always, they've been stepping up and doing coverage when in the Honcast absent, which is great. So definitely look forward to the coverage still happening. In fact, this week, like I was talking about, there's only one day that's not going to have matches, and that's the Friday. Every other day, though, there's supposed to be matches going on. In fact, let me double check on that. It looks like tomorrow's match is actually Shrek is Love versus Willowkeeper. Again, those 2 new teams coming in. That's followed up by Shrek is Love versus Reason, and then on Thursday, Shrek is Love versus CiC Esports. So a lot of Shrek is Love going to be happening all throughout the week here. And then, of course, into the weekend, where more big matches to be coming, of course. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Again, not going to be in a hurry on Honcast, but we'll keep you guys updated as far as where to find that, both on the Hon and in the Honcast Facebook, as well as the Twitter. So make sure you're following those if you are not. So shout out to you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Once again, congrats to BMG one more time as they take the series 2-0. But once again, that is going to do it for tonight, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you next time here on Honcast, but definitely look forward to more matches throughout the community casters throughout this week for the Carnage in Kaldivar Pro League. And I personally will see you guys